Looking very smart, Marla.
And a complete change from about 10 minutes ago.
You want to make Rosie and I co-hosts, and that'll...
He's the board. Well, seeing as how you are the host for tonight, it'd be a good thing to do. Now, what I want to do is I want to mute everybody and leave them muted while I get Facebook or YouTube or whatever organized, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to try and get people up, and I'll unmute you when we have.
Yep.
Yes, good idea.
All right, when I'm up and running, but I think we need to leave everybody muted.
You're recording it now, Maura. Is that just?
I know, but it's not on Facebook or anything.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of stuff.
What about letting people in? Should we start? It's 5 to 9.
Yeah, if you want to do that, but in that case, I'm gonna mute everybody.
Yeah.
So, and I'll unmute you again when closer to the time. It's just, I'm concerned about the kind of chatting that people do.
Yes. It's difficult, isn't it?
Okay, gonna do that now. I'm gonna work on that. You can start letting people in, Jerry. Okay.
Yep. I know it's eerily quiet, everyone. We're just waiting to get. Are we ready to start, do you think?
I'm told it's live on YouTube. I'm trying to see if it's live on YouTube. So I'm going to do that bit now. But you know, I guess it's probably yeah, it's probably okay to start.
Right. Okay. So, well, I'll put myself on camera. So, Dee Carter, welcome everyone to the Góilín. This will be the last one before the Frank Hart Festival, as Mara said on her message.
Robbing my jokes, Jerry.
Good jokes are always worth stealing.
Absolutely.
Right. So, yes, things have changed rapidly in Dublin. Just in case anyone who doesn't live in this part of the world knows, we are now moved up to level 3, and this means that people are not allowed to leave the city or come to the city and stuff like that. So, it has made a big difference in the Frank Hart Festival. We had hoped to live stream an event from Poetry Ireland on Friday afternoon, and the concert on Saturday night, but unfortunately it'll now be pre-recorded and broadcast as a premiere at those times, which will be 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon and 8 o'clock on Saturday evening. That's unfortunately is the best we can do, because we cannot sort of meet to do that. So that's the way we're going to go. So let's get going with the singing and enjoy ourselves tonight. So where is Mick Keeley till I find him? Mick J. Keeley. Right, so Mick Keeley is going to sing the first song. Maureen Cronin is going to sing the second song. And Frank Nugent will sing the third song. The third song. And then we'll just get rolling then, and we'll just enjoy ourselves and listening, enjoying singing, and enjoying each other's company, more importantly. It's a strange way to enjoy each other's company nowadays. Usually we're used to sitting in pubs and chatting beforehand, but unfortunately we don't get the chance. So Mick Keeley, away with you.
Thanks, Jerry. Young Roger the miller came courting all late, with a farmer's fine daughter called Beautiful Kate. She had for a fortune many fine things, beautiful silks, gold, diamonds, and rings. And her father he gave her a nice piece of ground, and she'd also a fortune. She'd also a fortune of £500. When the money and supper they both were laid down, well, it was a great sight to see £500. And the sight of that money and beauty likewise made Roger's heart greedy and dazzled his eyes. He said, now that your daughter and money is there, well, I will not wend her. No, I will not wend her without your grey mare. Well, the money and supper were taken from sight, and likewise young Katie his own heart's delight. And Roger was taken and shown to the door, and ordered not to return any more. It was then that he tore at his long yellow hair, saying, why did I ever, oh, why did I ever speak of the grey mare? Well, it was when 6 months they were over and past, and one day young Roger, he met with his lass. I think that I know you, madam, said he. I am the same way with you, sir, said she. A man with your features and long yellow hair. He once came a-courting. He once came a-courting my father's grey mare. Well, it wasn't a grey mare a-courting I came, but you, my sweet jewel, my Katie by name. I thought that your father would never dispute to give me the grey mare and you to boot, and not risk to lose such a dutiful son. But it's now I am sorry, it's now I am sorry for what I have done. For your sorrow, young Roger, I've little regard, for there's plenty of men in this town to be had. If 'twas not for your greed, we'd be married, you see. But now you have neither the grey mare nor me. Well, the price of the grey mare was ever so great. So fare thee well, Roger. Fare thee well, Roger. You're a sorrowful case. Well, now Roger's away to his desolate home, and he sits by the fire and he sups all alone. Katie's heart sings, she is happy and gay. She has wed a young miller who works the long day. So young men, when you're courting, now always beware, and court with the young maid, and court with the young maid, and none the grey mare.
That's lovely singing, Mick. Lovely. Thank you very much. So moving quickly on, Marty Cronin, I've asked to sing the second song. Mara, would you unmute yourself and sing, please? Thank you.
Now, sorry about that. I suddenly realised there's no Ishka. Okay. My love has left me with bare knees trod, and that's the last of him I ever saw. He joined the army and marched to war. He took the shilling He took the shilling and he's off to war. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannon roar. Take the king's shilling and you're off to war. Well did he look as he marched along, with his kilt and spur on and his musket gun, and the ladies tipped him as he marched to war. He sailed out by the Brooklyn Lawn. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling and you're off to war. Now the pipes did play as they marched along, and the men they sang out a battle song. March on, cried the captain gay, for king and country, for king and country, you must fight today. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling and you're off to war. Well, the men did fight, and the battle rattled to the sound of drums, and the bayonets flashed in the morning sun. The drums did beat and the cannon roar, and the shilling didn't seem, no, the shilling didn't seem much worth the war. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling and you're off to war. Well, the men did fight and the men did fall, cut down by bayonet and musket ball, and many of those brave young men will never fight for their king again. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling and you're off to war. My love has left me with bare knees twa, and that's the last of him I ever saw. He joined the army and marched to war. He took the shilling, and he's died in war.
Oh, well sung, Mara. Lovely, lovely. A beautiful song. Just for anyone on The man who wrote that, Ian Sinclair, we'd like to contact him because it's included in the Frank Hart book, and we'd like to send him a copy of the book. So if anyone knows his address, if you'd email us at Góilín, info@góilín.com, just to let us know. That's great. So Frank Nugent, sing the next song, Frank. Can you unmute?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
unmuted.
Come on, Frank.
Okay. A few years ago, I was down in Cove in County Cork, and I was looking for the grave of Robert Ford, who was away with Captain Scott on the Terra Nova expedition with Tom Crean and all those sort of guys. And when I was there, a grave adjacent to that belonged to James Roach Verlin from Cove. And it turned out he was a surgeon who was there when Napoleon died at the end. He was an Irish surgeon from Cove. But previous to him, there had been another Irish surgeon called Barry O'Mara, and he became too close to Napoleon, so they dismissed him out of the Navy altogether. But that graveyard is really interesting. The Lusitania is a mass grave of the Lusitania victims, and the gorgeous Gael, Jack Doyle, they're all buried there. But in among them is this fella who didn't look after Napoleon very well. Anyway, the song I'm going to sing, of course, is The Isle of St. Helena. Now Boney's away from his warring and fighting. He has gone to a place where none can delight him. He may sit now and dwell on sights he has seen, oh, while forlorn he will mourn when he thinks on St. Helena. Oh, no more in St. Cloud will he appear in great splendor, or step forth from the crowd like the great Alexander. He may look to the east when he thinks upon Lucana, with a heart that's full of woe, on the Isle of St. Helena. Oh, the wild rushing waves on our shores they are washing, and the loud billows deep on our rocks they are crashing. He may look to the east from the great Mount Diana, with his eyes on the waves that surround St. Helena. Oh, Louisa, she weeps, from her husband she's parted, and she dreams while she sleeps, but awakes broken hearted. Others none can console her, though there's many be with her, while alone she must mourn when she thinks on St. Helena. O you parliaments of war, and your holy alliance, O to the prisoner of war you may now bid defiance. By your base intrigues, O, and your baser misdemeanors, have caused him to die on the Isle of St. Helena. Now all you that have wealth, oh, beware of ambition, for there's some twist of fate might change your condition. Be steadfast in time, what's to come, change you cannot, but maybe your race will end, oh, on the Isle of St. Helena. Oh, now Boney's away from his warring and fighting. He has gone to a place where none can delight him. He may sit now and dwell, on sight he has seen no, while forlorn he will mourn on the Isle of Saint Helena.
Oh, that's lovely, Frank. Thank you very much. Excellent. Great start to the evening. Okay, so Anne Lamb, would you like to unmute yourself and sing us a song, please? We'd love to hear you.
That's it. Right, this is a song by Mike Waterson. Two farmers live by the mill. If they're not dead, they live there still. Each had a special skill, breeding fat birds. Now the first farmer's name was Swan. Breeding ducks brought him fame. Breeding ducks brought him game. Some he bred ducks, and the next farmer's name was Duck. Breeding geese brought him luck, and great cartloads of goose muck. Duck he bred geese. Now the young lad sat by the pond, waving his willow wand, he being the keeper of both geese and ducks. And the schoolmaster he rode by, new to the district he, casting an envious eye on both geese and ducks. And whose ducks are these, he said, bending down with his head. The lad turned and smiled and said, them ducks is Swans. Young lad, you are a fool, sitting there. No, the schoolmaster shook his head, turning a little red. He turned once again and said, whose geese are these? The lad turned and smiled and said, them geese is all corn-fed. You'll not find better bread, and them geese is ducks. Young lad, you are a fool, sitting there by the pool. Better be at the school, learning about ducks. The lad turned and smiled and said, them geese, them ducks is all corn-fed. And as for them geese, he said, them geese is ducks. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, so we move on to Ian Russell. Ian, could you unmute yourself there and sing us a song, please? Up in Aberdeen. If you can't, I will do it.
I'm done now, Jerry. Thank you.
Ah, that's great. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah. A song from Traveller tradition, a song that has special resonance for myself and Jerry. And I'd like to call it the Ballad of Susie Pirate, but that's not its posh name. I'm sure you can work out its posh name. Lord Beacon was as good a lord as sailed the sea, and he has put his ship in order and swore the Moors lands he would go see. And he sailed east and he sailed west until he came to far Turkey, where he was taken by some pirates and put in prison in misery. This Turk, he had an only daughter, the fairest creature I e'er did see. She stole the keys to her father's prison, and swore Lord Beacon she would set free. She's gone into her father's kitchen, and she's brought to him a crust o' bread. Now eat you this, you poor prisoner. I fear that you are almost dead. And she's gone into her father's cellar, and she's brought to him a glass of wine, and every toast that he gave to her, he said, fair Susie, I wish you were mine. For I have houses and I have lands, and all Northumberland belongs to me. I'd give it all to you, young woman, if out of prison you would set me free. For 7 long years I will make a vow. For 7 long years I'll keep it true. If you will wed with no other woman, then I will marry none but you. And she's gone into her father's harbour, and she's given to him a ship of fame. Farewell, farewell to you, Lord Beacon, I fear I'll ne'er see you again. And when 7 long years were past and gane, and 14 days were known to be, she's gathered up her gay gold clothing, and swore Lord Beacon she would go see. And she sailed east and she sailed west, until she came to the north country, and there she met with a little herd boy, and she did ask him questions 3. Who owns these flocks of sheep? Who owns these herds of kye? Who owns these tall, tall towers? And many more as I pass by. Why, Lord Beacon owns these flocks of sheep. Lord Beacon owns these herds of kye. Lord Beacon owns these tall, tall towers, and many more as you pass by. And she's put a hand all in her pocket, and she withdrew sovereigns 3. Now take you these, my little herd boy, for the glad tidings you bring to me. And when she came to Lord Beacon's castle, so nimbly at the bell rang she. Who's there, who's there, cried the little page boy. Who's there, who's there? Come tell to me, come tell me, is this Lord Beacon's castle? And is his lordship now within? Oh yes, it is Lord Beacon's castle. He's just now taken his new bride in. Go bid him send me a crust of bread. Go bid him send me a glass of wine, and to not forget the fair young lady who released him from close confine. What news, my little page boy? What news do you bring to me? What news, my little page boy? You bow so low upon your knee. There is a lady all at your door, sir. the fairest creature I e'er did see. She's as a muckle gold all around her body. 'Twould buy Northumberland and kingdoms three. She bids you send her a crust of bread. She bids you send her a glass of wine, and to not forget the fair young lady who once released you from close confine. Well, Lord Beacon rose all in a passion, the cups and saucers he gar them flee. I'll bet any man my land and kingdom it's Susie Pirate come o'er the sea. Then up then spak the new bride's mother, and very seldom she spak sae free. You'll marry now, my only daughter, though Susie Pirates come o'er the sea. Tak your daughter hame, my lady, she's nane the worse, nor the better for me. She came here on a horse and saddle, she can ride hame in a coach and three. Now Lord Beacon's married his Turkish lady, and they're as happy as e'er can be. He gangs nae mate foreign countries. Now Susie Pirates come o'er the sea. He gangs nae mate foreign countries. Now Susie Pirates come o'er the sea. Thank you.
That's lovely, Ian. Thank you very much. Great storytelling. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Marge Steiner, would you like to unmute yourself and sing us a song? Marge? Usually takes Marge a minute or two to... Marge?
Hello.
Yes, would you like to sing? I believe
Yes,
you need
yes.
to go early, I'm
Because
told.
I need to go early because supper and the Jewish High Holy Days. So, yeah, it was saying when I tried to unmute, it said the host is not allowing you to unmute. So, but here we are. Okay, well, Mick sang Roger the Miller earlier, beautifully sung, by the way. So this is a version of Roger the Miller. I might have sung it the other week from New Brunswick, Canada. Roger the Miller came courting of late a farmer's young daughter called Beautiful Kate. She had for a fortune fine ribbons and rings. She had for a fortune, yes, 500 things. She had for a fortune fine ribbons and gowns. She had for a fortune, she had for a fortune, yes, 500 pounds. Oh, the wedding being ready, the supper set down. Oh, what a fine fortune is 500 pounds. When up speaks young Roger, I vow and declare, although that your daughter is charming and fair, I won't have your daughter, I vow and declare. I won't have your daughter, I won't have your daughter without the grey mare. Oh, up speaks her father unto him with speed, I thought that you'd marry my daughter indeed. But now that I find out that things they are so, once more in my pocket my money shall go. You won't have my daughter, I vow and declare. You won't have my daughter, you won't have my daughter, nor yet the grey mare. Oh, the money being vanished and went out of sight, and so did Miss Katy, his joy and delight. And Roger the scoundrel was kicked out of doors, He was told to be gone and return there no more. So away he went tearing his long yellow hair, and wished he had never, spoke of the grey mare. Oh, the years past and gone now, till one day on the street, oh, who did he chance but his Katy to meet? Good morning, Miss Katy, do you not know me? Oh, yes, sir, she said, I have seen you before, or one of your likeness with long yellow hair, who once came a-courting my father's grey mare. Oh, indeed, Miss Katy, you are much to blame, it was for the courting of you that I came. For to think that your father would have no dispute, to give unto me the grey mare for to boot, before he would part with his dear loving son. So now I am sorry for what I have done. Oh, your troubles, said Katy, I value them not, there's plenty more in this town to be got. For to think that a man would be so in despair, to marry a girl for the sake of a mare. Oh, the price of a mare, it was never so great. So fare you well, Roger, go mourn for your Kate. There you go.
I love the way it just cuts off short. Go off and go. Brilliant.
Yes.
Tara, would you like to unmute yourself, Tara, and sing us a song? Mara? She's working on it, I think, Tara.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Just to mention that Dara is one of our guests at the Prank Art Festival next weekend. We're looking forward to him. And to say also publicly, that was a wonderful film last night, Dara. Rosie and I so enjoyed it. Brilliant. It's about a fantastic fiddle player here in Ireland, a man called Tommy Potts, who passed away a few years ago. Dara, I actually worked with Tommy Potts in the housing department of Dublin Corporation.
I was going to ask Jerry. There's not many people with an intersection of rent collecting and traditional Irish music. So
and him and I were two of them.
There you go. Great stuff. Thanks very much, Jerry. I'm actually here to plug a different project. I was very happy a few months ago, or maybe just nearly a year ago now, to undertake a research project with the Góilín and in cooperation with the Dublin City Council on the Songs of the North Inner City, the part of Dublin that I come from. And I've since turned my findings from this research into a talk. One of the things I had planned to do was to do a walking tour of the Monto, which is the sort of historic red light district in Dublin, long since closed down. Before you get excited, lads. And of course, it was due to go on in April. It was rescheduled to September, and now it's taking place tomorrow virtually. And just because the project was funded, I guess, by the Góilín and supported by the Góilín, I'm offering a sort of private Zoom link to the presentation where you'll be able to take the tour and ask questions and whatever else to members of the Góilín. So I'm just going to put that in the chat now. Should be there for you. Just save whatever details you need. There's no password, just a link. That's tomorrow, Saturday at 2 p.m. Irish time. Might be a bit too early for any Americans out there, but that's there. And we'll be taking a walk around the area with Terry Fagan, the Monto sort of folklorist historian, and myself singing songs and telling stories. Anyway, I'll sing a song. This is one of the songs we'll be featuring, called The Loch Hospital, which during the times of the Monto was where the women went, or the men went, when they had caught particular kinds of diseases. I won't tell you which ones. Excuse me. As I was walking down by the Loch Hospital, bright was the morning and clear was the day, and who shouldn't I meet but a faithful companion, all wrapped up in flannels and ready to die. And so beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Sound the death march as you carry her along. And over her coffin throw a bunch of red roses. For she's a young girl so far from her home. And all from her sweet lips a few words were spoken. All from her sweet lips a few words there came. Oh, this is a warning for young girls' protection, which causes their ruin and leads them astray. And so beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Sound the death march as you carry her along. And over her coffin throw a bunch of red roses. For she's a young girl cut down in her prime. Oh, daughter, dear daughter, 'tis oft times I told you. 'Tis oft times I told you to stay well away, to stop your street walking and all that sweet talking. 'Tis oft times I told you, but now you are late. So beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Sound the death march as you carry her along. And over her coffin throw a bunch of red roses. For she's a young girl so far from her home. Show me that young man who hangs round the corners. Show me that young man that dresses so gay. First your true lover, and now your deceiver. Show me that young man who led you astray. And so play the fife lowly and beat the drum slowly. Sound the death march as you carry her along. And over her coffin throw a bunch of red roses. For she's a young girl so far from her home. Well, that is a question that I cannot answer. He put me in a hackney and drove me away. First by the White House and then by the Red House, then into the Black House, and now to my grave. So beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Sound the death march as you carry her along. And over her coffin throw a bunch of red roses. For she's a young girl so far from her home. Now there lies the body of one who was handsome, And there lies the body of one who was fair. And there lies the body of a lovely young lassie who died from destruction one bright summer's day. So beat the drum slowly and play the pipe slowly. Sound the death march as you carry her along. And over her coffin throw a bunch of red roses. For she's a young girl so far from her home. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. You're all very welcome to join us. The Hay Hotel, Songs and Stories of the Monto.
Thanks, Tara. Lovely. So, Bernie Dermody, would you like to give us a song, please? If you unmute yourself, or maybe one of the elves can unmute her. Mara Crony is objecting to me calling her an elf.
Now, okay. I'd sing the Grey Lakes of Lochray. It's Pete St. John.
No, it's Patrick.
Oh no, it wasn't. That was the one I was going to sing. Patrick Fallon. My heartstrings make sweet music whene'er I think of you. And if you call me darling, how happy I would be. I would swim the shore or Slaney or the Shannon any day, just to talk with you, lovely lady, and to walk you round Lochray. If I owned all Portumna or the markets of Athlone, all the wharfs and all the money that belong to Limerick town, I would part them to your people if you'd let me presume, just to walk with you, lovely lady, and to be your squire in tune. Oh, Roseleaf May, 'tis easy for to blame the Western now. But who was ever able for to harrow with the plough? Not reared was I for labour, or to watch the seasons play, but gambling, sport, and dancing lost me my own Lochray. In her grey house by the water, my love is dwelling still. She's the moon's only daughter, oh, a lamp upon the hill. She may braid her hair at evening, while those who go the way, they may think it's the moon that's rising o'er the grey lakes of Lochray. Last night abroad in London, I spent my only crown. I toasted my own love, and after cried tears down. I walked the lands till morning, and I heard you hark away. Oh, I wish I was that red fox you hunted round Lochray. Though Lent will last till Easter, and after summer comes, but fasting or feasting, the slow bush buds and blooms. The Queen of Hearts is lonely, but the joker still to play. I will lead and I'll take her from you, O strong men of Lochray. I will lead and I'll take her from you, O strong men of Lochray.
Wonderful
Sinead.
singing, Bernie. Thank you very much. Lovely, lovely
Thanks.
song. Lovely
Thanks,
images
Jerry.
in that song. Chris Carpenter, would you like to unmute and sing us a song, or do you need me to unmute?
Okay.
You're unmuted, Chris. Away you go.
Thank you. As I went out one morning to view the fields and forests green, with my 2 hunting beagles, in order for some game to see. There I saw none but Mary. She appeared to me like a virgin queen. She was at her daily labor, at the reaping of the rushes green. As I looked all around me to see what persons I might see, there I saw none but my love Mary, whom I embraced most tenderly. She said, "Young man, go easy, oh, go your way and let me be. Don't toss my rushes carelessly, hard labor I have gained by thee. If I tossed your rushes carelessly, a greener bunch I'll reap for you. So sit ye down beside me, a pleasant story I'll tell you. 'Tis hard, kind sir, to refuse you, although your false love has led me astray. So I'll sit down beside you till the morning dew does fade away. As my love and I sat courting beneath yon greenwood laurel tree, the small birds sang melodiously, changing their notes from tree to tree. The lark she joined in chorus as I embraced my virgin queen. For Mary, my love Mary, and her bonny bunch of rushes green. As my love and I got married, great riches she has gained by me. She has servants for to wait on her and save her from all slavery. Her waist so small and slender, the whole world I would range it round. For Mary, my love Mary, and her bonny bunch of rushes brown.
Oh, that's lovely singing, Chris. Thank you very much. That's absolutely lovely. Lovely song and lovely sing. Well sung. Melissa Weaver, Weaver Dunning. Melissa Dunning, would you like to unmute? Or will I unmute you? Yes, would you like to sing us a song, Melissa?
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you. This is The Cocks Are A-Crowing, which I learned from Frank Hart many years ago. The cocks are a-crowing, daylight is appearing, it's drawing nigh unto the break of day. Arise, my charmer, out of your slumber. Arise, my darling, and come away. And when he came unto his true love's window, he kneeled down all upon a stone, and through a window he whispered slowly, Arise, my darling, and let me in. Oh, who is this that is at my window? And who is this that knows me too well? 'Tis I, your own wounded lover, who fain would speak with you, love, a while. Oh, go away and ask your daddy if he will allow you my bride to be. And if he says no, then return and tell me. For this is the last night I will trouble thee. Oh, my dada, he is in his bedchamber. He's fast asleep upon his bed of ease. And in his right hand he holds a letter, which speaks much, darling, to your disgrace. Oh, what disgrace can he have unto me? A faithful husband to you I'll be. And what other neighbors have round their houses, thus same, my darling, you shall have of me. Oh, go away and ask your mammy if she will allow you my bride to be. And if she says no, then return and tell me. For this is the last night I will trouble thee. Oh, my mamma, she is an old age woman. She scarce can hear, love, one word you say. But she bids you go now and court some other. For I'm not a fitting, love, your bride to be. Oh, I will go, but I'll court no other. My heart lies lodged all in your breast. I would bid you come now and leave your mammy, for you're just a fitting, love, my bride to be. Oh, I will go unto the wild mountains, where I'll see nothing but the wild deer, and I'll eat nothing but the wild herbs, and I'll drink nothing but my true lover's tears. And if the Kelly boyne, it were mine in the chorus, and those green fields, they were mine and wide. And if my pen were made of the tempered steel, sure, my true love's praises I could never write.
That's lovely, Melissa. Thank you very much. Lovely. That was lovely. Pádraig O'Looney coming back over this side of the pond. Pádraig, I'll unmute you. Would you like to sing us a song, Pádraig, please?
Sorry about that earlier, Jerry. I'm not very technically minded and I didn't know how to answer you back.
You and I both, Pádraig.
Try this one. Oh, lady fair went walking down by a river's side. The crystal tear stood on her cheek as I walked by her side. Out from her trembling bosom these words she spoke so true, saying, friend, I fear my William's slain at lonely Waterloo. What were the clothes your soldier wore? Your Willie wore, a soldier did reply. He wore the Highland bonnet with the feathers standing high. A broad bright sword hung by his side o'er his dark suit of blue. Those were the clothes my William wore at lonely Waterloo. Well, if those were the clothes your William wore, I saw his dying day, when the bayonet pierced his tender side, as on the ground he lay. He reached me out his dying hand, a Frenchman had him slew. It was I that closed your William's eyes at lonely Waterloo. Oh, Willie dear, oh, Willie, then she could speak no more. She threw herself down on her knees as I those tidings bore. Oh, if I had the wings of a little bird, it straightway I would fly. I would fly to lonely Waterloo, where my true love does lie. I'd light on my love's bosom, my sorrow to remove. I'd kiss my William's clay cold lips as a token of true love. What's next? A single maiden I'll remain, to no one I'll prove true, since my Willie lies with sightless eyes at lonely Waterloo. Sorry,
Good man, Party. Good man, Party.
I was always intrigued that out of whatever couple of 100,000 were wearing the uniform, he recognised them by the clothes he wore.
But I think that line, since my Willie lies with sightless eyes, I think that's one of the most fantastic lines ever.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Phil O'Connor, would you like to sing us a song, please? I'll unmute you. You're unmuted, Phil. Lovely.
Thanks, Jerry. This is a version of Gone to be Wed to Another. It's I got it from Travelers singing. Oh, I loved a wee lass, for many's the too high. Oh, I loved a wee lass, for many's the long year, and I spent all my money on. No, that's wrong. Oh, I loved a wee lass, for many's the long day, and I slighted all others who came in my way. And well, she rewarded me to the last day, for she's gone to be wed to another. She's gone to be wed to another. Oh, the bride and bride's party to the church they did go. The bride, she went foremost, she wore the best show. And I followed after with a heart full of woe, for to see my love wed to another, to see my love wed to another. Oh, the bride and bride's party in the church they did stand, more rings on her fingers, her love by the hand. And the man she is wed to has houses and land. He may have her since I could not gain her. He may have her since I could not gain her. Oh, well, the next place I saw her, she was all dressed in white. And the more I gazed on her, it dazzled my sight. I lifted my cap and I bade her good night. Farewell to all false-hearted lovers. Lovers, farewell to all false-hearted lovers. Oh, well, the next place I saw her, she was laying down meat. I sat down beside her, not a bite could I eat. I thought my love's company more pleasant than meat, since love was the cause of my ruin. since love was the cause of my ruin. Oh, dig me a grave and dig it down deep and strew it all over with red roses sweet. And lay me down gentle, no more for to weep, since love was the cause of my ruin. Ruin, since love was the cause of my ruin.
Lovely, lovely version, Phil. Lovely. Thank you very much. Mick Dunn, up in Silver Bridge in County Armagh. And you unmute yourself, or will I unmute you?
There we
You're
go.
unmuted.
Cool, Billy. Thanks, Gary. If you were the restless sea, I the steadfast stone, you the waving kelp above, I the bleaching bones, your little waves to lap my feet, advance and kiss, encroach, retreat, surround, submerge, at last complete. Oh, you and I truly one. And were you then a yellow bloom, dancing in the grass, I a hunting honeybee, pausing ere I'd pass, and as I'd sip your nectar sweet, your pollen grain surround my feet. In that ecstatic moment meet, oh, you and I truly one. And were I then a single seed of all the millions in the field, and you a gentle raindrop from the sky, as you'd fall upon my breast to awaken me from my long rest. In that moment by the old gods blessed, oh, you and I truly one. And were you then the last wild leaf on the autumn bough, and I the wind a wanton thief, to blow as I blow now? And when you'd fall as fall you must, I to be the waiting dust, beyond sorrow, pain, or lust, and to lie forever truly one. There we go.
Lovely. Well done, Nick. As Frank Callery has just said, it's one of the great love songs. There's no doubt about it.
Fantastic, smashing song, yeah.
Smashing song. Mary O'Connor.
Um,
Lovely, Mary. How are you?
this is a song that was written back in the late 1800s by Francis Fahy, a Kinvara man, The Tide Full In. Oh, 'tis sad round Dowras when the tide is low, and the green fields buried 'neath the frost and snow, and the dark days dreary, and the curlews cry, and me thinking of the days gone by. Oh, those happy summers of the olden days, and the brown boat stealing through the golden haze, and the cuckoo calling from the woods within, and my love beside me, and the tide full in. Oh, was I not foolish when I let him go, to seek his fortune where the west winds blow? If a fair wind brought him to my aching heart, with my 2 arms around him we would never part. Oh, those happy summers of the olden days, and the brown boat stealing through the golden haze, and the cuckoo calling from the woods within, and my love beside me, and the tide full in. There's a dear, dear letter on my fond heart lies, with its words of promise more than life I prize, for it whispers a story I'll soon fortune win, and come back and claim you when the tide's full in. Oh, those happy days, they will return once more, and the brown boat sailing to the sunset shore, and the cuckoo calling from the woods within, and my love beside me, and the tide full in. There you go.
Lovely, Mary. That's the loveliest song. Francis A. Fahy. I always think of the southern shores of Galway Bay when I hear anyone singing that song. It's a lovely song. Tony Fitzpatrick. Either mute yourself or maybe... No, hang on, Tony. Now you're unmuted.
Okay. Right. At the time that's in it, where the Frank Hart Festival coming up, Napoleonic song. I am a young fellow that has always loved rural sport, the fairs and the patrons wherein I used to resort. The true sons of Bacchus were always in my company, till I was deprived of my drawing no more cream.
That's lovely, yeah.
The wombs turned to earth that gave birth to my brother and me. My father and mother have gone to eternity. We worked at our trade, and the money we spent it quite free, which makes me lament for my drawing no more cream. When we were children, all we did each other adore. This lovely green island we wandered it o'er and o'er. My brother was taken and sent o'er the dark rolling sea, and I was left lonely for drawing no more cream. In Dublin's fair city, my brother, he was pressed away. On board of a warship to Spain o'er the dark rolling sea, where cannons roll loudly and bullets like lightning do fly. Perhaps in some battle my drawing home might die. He was sent to the wars for to fight against Boney and France. His regiment was first in the red battle ranks to advance. But as night cast its gloom on that gory and life-wastingly, pale, bleeding and lonely lay drawing no more cream. If heaven would aid me and send me to Spain where he be, my life I would venture to set him at liberty. Like a true loyal brother I would die for him manfully, and lie in the arms of my drawing no more cream. But now I'm alone like the desolate bird of the night. This world and its beauty no longer afford me delight. The sad narrow grave is the only sad refuge for me. Since I've lost my heart's treasure, my drawing no more cree. Since I've lost my heart's treasure, my drawing no more cree.
Lovely song. Very well sung, Tony. Lovely song. So I'm going to hand over to Máireann Cronin for a small bit to give you a break from me and to give me a break from you.
Perfect. Thanks a million, Jerry. Tony, gorgeous singing. And in fact, I mean, just gorgeous singing all night. Now, I am going to move straight to Anne Dunn or Anne Parsons Dunn. Can you unmute yourself there, Anne? Super. Can you give us an old song?
Okay, I'll try.
Great.
When I was in my prime, I flourished like a vine. There came along a false young man who stole my heart away, who stole my heart away. The gardener standing by, 3 offers he made to me. The pink, the violet, and red rose, which I refused all 3, which I refused all 3. The pink's no flower at all, for it fades away too soon, and the violet is too pale a hue. I think I'll wait till June. I think I'll wait till June. In June the red rose blooms. That's not the flower for me. For it's then I'll pluck the red rose off and plant a willow tree, and plant a willow tree, and the willow tree shall weep, and the willow tree shall whine. I wish I was in the young man's arms who stole the heart of mine, who stole the heart of mine. If I live for 1 year more, and God should grant me grace, I'll weep above of crystal tears to wash his deceitful face, to wash his deceitful face.
Gorgeous, Anne. Thanks so much. It's a lovely song and it's beautifully sung as well.
I'm now in the right age to sing it. I learned it about 50 years ago.
There you go, mature as well. All right, thanks a million. I am moving down to, if I can find them, I have to get rid of the chat here. There you are, Eugene. There you are. Now, Eugene, can you?
Yep.
Super.
You hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly. Get an elf song off you now.
Great night so far, some great singing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is a chorus song, so you can all join in the choruses at home. As I rode out one morning, as I went over yon moss, I had no thoughts of listing till a soldier did me cross, and he kindly did invite me to take a flowing bowl. He advanced, he advanced, he advanced, he advanced. Me some money, a guinea and a crown. Oh, now my love's enlisted, and he wears a white cockade. He is a handsome young man, likewise a roving blade. He is a handsome young man, and he's gone to serve the king, and my very, and my very, and my very, and my very heart is breaking, all for the loss of him. My love is tall and handsome and comely for to see, but by a sad misfortune, a soldier now is he. May the man who first enlisted him not prosper night nor day. How I wish that, how I wish that, how I wish that, how I wish that he was drowned all in the foaming spray. And may he never prosper, and may he never thrive at all he puts his hand to, as long as he's alive. May the very ground he walks upon, the grass refuse to grow, since he has been my, since he has been my, since he has been my, since he has been my. Only cause of my sorrow, grief and woe. She then took out a handkerchief to wipe a flowing eye. Wipe up those mournful tears, likewise those dreadful sighs. And be you of good courage, love, till I return again. You and I love, you and I love, you and I love, you and I love. Will be be married when I return again. White Cockhead.
Hop. That was brilliant, Eugene. Thank you so much. Oh my God, that was just fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking me.
Not a bother. Always a pleasure. Okay, I am now looking for Lynn Phipps. I messaged you, but I don't know, did you hear me or see me?
I didn't see it, sorry, but yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I would love to. Can I sing? I'm going to be I'm singing some piping songs from Rona Lightfoot, and this is the one I'm singing at the moment. So if I can sing that, that would be great. This is a piping song which is the Lament for Macrimman. Macrimman Hedgehog Macrimman will not return, or Cuavikrimman. And there is a line that having relooked at it that I particularly like. Quite often when pipers went to war, the pipers did not come back, but sometimes their pipes came back. There is a line in the song, although the pipes will return, the piper Macrimman will not return. And it also says he will not return until the day of judgment. In war and peace he will not return. And I'm going to sing the Urla, the ground, and the shul, which is the follow on. Macrimman Nkagagnoshi Hachi Eteliak Hachi Macrimman Sket Hiagavip Hachi Macrimman Hachi Macrimman Sket Hiag Macloch Chabio Macrimman Hachi Eteliak Hachi Ekwaparach Uwana Kraniak Mochorit Cho Kundori Chiniak Movearit Vea Snajara Shiliak Mochorit Cho Kundori Chiniak Movearit Vea Snajara Shiliak Mochor Chiliagrot Kundor Chiliagrot Kundor Chiliagrot Kundor Chiliagrot Mochor Chiliagrot Kundor Chiliagrot Mochor Ikhor Snajara Shiliak Hachi Macrimman Nkagagnoshi Hachi Eteliak Hachi Macrimman Get Hiagavip Hachi Macrimman. Finish.
Wow, Gramagat. That was lovely. I'm going to move to Doug Huggins. You there? Doug? Trying to unmute you there, Doug. Yeah, I think that sounds right.
I'm trying. Did that work?
Yeah, that's working. That's working.
That's good, thank you. Took me a minute there. This is the Piper's song, Out on la Pibra. I've kind of rearranged the words a bit. There are four men courting you, a cuishla sa storin, a vornin gili sherio. Knackler the weaver, the tailor and the piper, a vornin gili sherio. And which of us now will you wed in the springtime? Which one will fill your heart with joy night and morning? Music is the fairest thing, the sweet tunes of piping, of morning gili sherio. The hackler must break the flax, scorching and combing, of morning gili sherio. He'll leave you to comb and card while he goes a-roaming, of morning gili sherio. And there you will sit, my love, from dawning till evening, searching for candle stubs so you can keep labouring. Music is the fairer thing, the sweet tunes of piping, of morning gili sherio. Now weaver must sit and weave morning to evening, of morning gili sherio. And you will be weaving too, aching and grieving, of morning gili sherio. The long joyless hours passing shuttles till darkness, searching for candle stubs so you can keep labouring. Music is the fairest thing, the sweet tunes of piping, of morning gili sherio. The tailor with needle, thread and shears does his labour, of morning gili sherio. Scraps, thread and trimmings, love, you'll sweep and you'll gather, of morning gili sherio. Patching your own faded garments with pieces, never a pretty new dress for his lady. Music is the fairest thing, the sweet tunes of piping, of morning gili sherio. The piper, he plays for the wake and the wedding, of morning fornin gili shelio. At parties and dances he always is welcome. A fornin gili shelio. And honoured of guests in the halls of the gentry, eating and drinking and dancing till morning. Music is the fairest thing, the sweet tunes I'll play, love, a vornin gili shelio.
Yeah, 3 sentences later, I realize I'm actually unmuted. What I said, for those of you who can't lip read, was thanks a million, Doug. Lovely singing. Nora, I'm going to unmute you now. Nora Rhodes.
Hello.
Super. Okay, I'm going to let you get on with it because I can hear the echo there, so that's distracting. So.
Sorry. Okay, so I thought I could sing Clark Saunders today, and so this is Jock Tamsin Byrne's version, which I learned. So, okay. Clark Saunders and May Margaret were walking in the garden green, and sad and heavy was thy love that lay these two lovers between. A bed, Clark Saunders said, a bed, my love, for you and me. Never a one the lady said, until the day we married be. For in will come my 7 brothers, and I their torches burning bright. They'll say, we're here but ain't sister, and here she's lying where you the night. But take me up all in your arms, and lay me low down on the bed, that ye may swear and keep your oath clear. Your bower flare I did nae tread. They were nae long unto the room, nor yet laid well unto the bed, when in and come her 7 brothers, and either torches burning red. And up and spake the first brother, I hear they hae been lovers dear. And up and spake the second brother, they've been in love for many a year. And up and spake the next of them, we'd best awa and let them be. And up and spake the next of them, they'll nae be harmed this night by me. And spake the fifth brother, although there were no man but me, I'll bear the brand until my hand shall quickly guard Clark Saunders' deed. He's taken out a long, long brand and striped it 3 times through the straw and through Clark Saunders' body. He's guard the rusty rapier gay. Clark Saunders he started, and Margaret laughed unto his arms as asleep she lay. And there she lay by her love's side until the dawning of the day. But he lay still and sleeped sound until the sun began to shine. She's looked between her and the wall, and dull and drowsy were his eyne. They'll ne'er coat go on my back, they'll ne'er king frae my hair, they'll neither coal nor candlelight shine in my bower evermore. Thank you.
Super, Nora. Thanks a million. Okay, Micheál McReinal. Aha.
Tá mé an?
Tá tú ann agus tá tú le chluisiant a gan háir an dúin.
Yeah.
Ínta.
Scrífaoin agus léing leabhar a bhéilge cé gur mi leis bhlas agus a dhéanaing i ceacht a bhealach Arrebok anyom las o yening takteger go mochechak is regring shal Nago safarer treasure Ioner feger no de lo kleshaban Estame mohi no li an kelyo kurer Karnatina shoshis Gomovian scafadulam pen Awere sa Christo na klitzel narish mushkel na keliv esrina wile na godak mehen Es narame basachie Sakira Nesmovian Ermaleudan Hal Tabanok Sachir Shaw Takoradringa Kimbarno O snarashi basakrihen kamishi kvina esne shagmula esauchelin ni amor mor magete esnirat leolam akon goel megan nestle Akamishalam thasta mavinto jasanantare dolin jokas mogabanlat Instagram color novel Estasia Goel groi Ganshin lumen Agasanu motha mochra nimishtelate Niniches nila nidraga sensakten zeg Achamishes mora Eshola fasak sakya sukrev. Shune.
My hoover heel, Gormila Magat. So I believe, Mr. O'Reilly, I believe Jerry's ready to take over again. Are you, Jerry?
I am, thank you. Good meal, Magat Mara. And
Míle
meal,
fáilte.
Magat, a bit heel. Lovely, absolutely. The beautiful melodic Shannon singing, very melodic. Right, so Kevin Shelley, if you'll unmute yourself and sing us a song, that'd be lovely. Have we difficult? Now you're on.
No, I'm on. Yeah, okay. Apologies in advance for the voice. With my dog and gun o'er the blooming heather for game and pleasure I made my way. I spied a maiden, tall and slender. Her eyes enticed me sometime to say. Said I, fair maid, do you know I love you? Tell me your name and your dwelling also. Excuse my name, sir, you'll find my dwelling by the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. Said I, fair maid, if you wed a farmer, you'll be tied for life to one plot of land. I'm a roving Johnny, if you'll go with me, you'll have no ties, so give me your hand. If my parents knew that I loved a rover, I'm sure 'twould be my overthrow. So I'll stay at home, sir, for one more season, by the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. So it's fairly well, love, another season. We will meet again by unwooded vale, and I'll sit you down, love, upon my knee then, and I listen to your lovesick tale. And it's arm in arm we will go together by yon lofty trees to the valley below, where the linnet sings her song so sweetly, by the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow.
Very nice singing, Kevin. I don't know what you're apologising for your voice for, because it was fine.
You weren't at this end.
Well,
Thank you.
It came across very nicely. Thank you very much, Kevin. So, Miss Rosie Davis, who's down in my kitchen underneath, would you like to sing a song?
Yeah, I'll sing something. They were very nice to that woman. This song is not so nice to the woman. We hadn't sailed far and we hadn't sailed any. We hadn't sailed far and we hadn't sailed any. Before she cried aloud for her baby, oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Up spoke the sea captain and he spoke very bonny. Up spoke the sea captain and he spoke very bonny, saying, I can get for you anything that you want. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Go fetch me a woman and let her come near me. Go fetch me a woman and let her come near me. Go fetch me a woman and let her come near me. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Up spoke the sea captain and he spoke very bonny. Up spoke the sea captain and he spoke very bonny, saying, I can do for you what any woman can. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, hold your tongue, foolish man, don't you talk vainly. Oh, hold your tongue, foolish man, don't you talk vainly. You never knew what your mum did for you. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, take me by the middle and lift me so softly. Oh, take me by the middle and lift me so softly and put me o'er shipboard, both me and my baby, oh. Love, lovely, lovely. Oh, first she did swim and then she did float it. Oh, first she did swim and then she did float it until she reached the green banks of Yarrow. Oh, love, lovely, lovely. I'll build my love a coffin of the gold so yellow, where the nails they are scarce and the deal it is narrow, and bury her o'er the green banks of Yarrow. Love, lovely, lovely.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Rosie. Very,
Pleasure.
very nice indeed. Lovely song. Michael Steen, would you like to unmute yourself and sing us a song? We'd love to hear you. I'm trying to unmute you. Now you're unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah? Give a nod. Yeah? Okay, you can hear
Yes,
me.
very
Great.
clearly, very
Yeah, we
clearly,
can hear you.
Michael.
Okay, good stuff.
I had muted myself as soon as you got on.
Okay,
I was too
great.
quick with my button.
It's great. No, it's great to hear everyone singing. We just had our first rain. I'm out here in the Columbia Gorge in the Pacific Northwest, where we've had these terrible wildfires and smoke for weeks now, and just had our first rain. So it's quite wonderful to have here. And before I sing, I'm just going to sing a little song for you. I wanted to tell everybody I have a YouTube channel that I upload old kind of out of print recordings of traditional singing to, and I recently uploaded these recordings from 1907 that this German man called Rudolf Trebitsch recorded, and it's I think some of the oldest singing in the Irish language like recordings that we have access to, and I'm going to leave a link in the chat here if anyone's interested in listening. There's a playlist that I made there, so just going to press enter. Hopefully that'll send to the chat. There it is. There. Very good.
I saw somebody having a discussion about Bess Cronin and Planksty on the thing during the week. Pretty
Yes. Yeah, it's true. No, I also just uploaded some Bess Cronin stuff as well from that out of print book. Anyways, this is a song I got from Singing of Melanie Cronin. It's just it's a children's song, really called On Bohra Huig. An bohra huig, an bohra huig, an bohra huig gatrali, an bohra huig son congra duig son bohra huig gatrali, an bohra huig o huig o huig, an bohra huig gatrali, an bohra huig son congra duig son bohra huig gatrali, esmalen ora pratiros, esmalen oran timlo, esmalen oram anachud fioles banyan namosan iya, an bohro huig o huig o huig, an bohro huig gatrali, an bohro huig son conquer haduig, san bohro huig gatrali, te yara chasias, te yara chasias, te yara chasias anora, te yara chasias an glungrin tauts, an liner fad gakorach, an bohro huig o huig o huig, an bohro huig gatrali, an bohro huig son conquer haduig, san bohro huig gatrali, Curig da chassis, curig da chassis, curig da chas a chianin, curig da chas a chriest, churpis demid golua idrali, an bohro huig o huig o huig, an bohro huig gatrali, an bohro huig son conquer haduig, san bohro huig gatrali. Sinead, thanks everybody.
Sort of a Nas's Gallop song, Michael. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Marion Button, would you like to sing a song, Marion? I just seen you on. I don't know whether you've been on Góilín before, but it's lovely to see you here, or to hear you here more importantly. Can I unmute you? Marion?
Jerry?
Yes, Rosie.
Can I just say hi to Marion? I haven't seen her for about a long, long time since I left Kent. So hi.
Marion? You're there, Marion, but not succeeding in
I'm
unmute.
trying to unmute her as well, but it's not working.
Not working. Okay, maybe we leave it be. Maybe she's being very, very shy. She's an absolutely fantastic singer, Marion. Okay, leave it be. And we'll go on to Sean Faulkner. Sean? John Faulkner? Yes.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that, Jerry.
How are you, Sean? Nice to see you.
Thanks very much. By a pleasant grove, as for pleasure I strayed, one calm dewy evening in spring, when the trees green were budding, young lambkins were playing, and the birds did melodiously sing. On a bank of daisies a fair maid I spied, the flowers at her feet by her tears they were dyed. Alas, are you gone, my dear Jamie, she cried, from your Ellen and there in the green. I modestly asked her the cause of her sorrow, when these words unto me she did say, my tears do flow down for James Caraher's murder. In the flower of his youth turn away. No man had he injured, no harm had he done, and for riots and quarrels he always did shun. Oh, but hard was the fate of the poor widow's son, who was slaughtered in Erin the Green. He being a man of upright behaviour, with fervour he loved all mankind. The spirit of party, the scourge of our nation, never entered James Caraher's mind. But because he supported the church that is true, and he feared neither purple nor orange nor blue, magnanimity that night he pierced his heart true. Now his blood lies in Erin the Green. As he lay on the ground, all his red gore was streaming. His lily white skin it did stain, and base Sergeant Levins did use the expression that he well deserves to be slain. His mother lamented both sadly and sore, as homeward his poor bloodied body they bore, saying, I'll wander the earth since my Jamie's no more, and bid farewell to Erin the Green. But if he had belonged to that murderous faction that has banished content from our strand, his murderers they would have been brought there to justice, when a trial in Dundalk day did stand. But self-defence said the judge of the verdict, I'm sure. For McMenemy and the Levins both perjury swore. Still James Caraher's spirit for mercy does roar. For his murder in Erin the Green. Well.
Good man, Sean. Sean, you come up with the most unusual songs that I've never heard, and it's absolutely lovely. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, Jerry.
Rebecca Sweeney, I'm trying to unmute you. Maybe Mara or Rosie can have a go. Now you're unmuted.
Is that right? One day as I went on my rambles from Swinford to sweet Ballylee, I met a fair maid on my rambles, and her name it was Mary Maggie. She sighed for the wrongs of her country, Michael Devitt, my true Irish boy, who is now in a prison in Portland, far from the lovely sweet banks of the Moy. I quickly approached this fair maiden, asked her what was the cause of her woe, and what was the cause of her misery that forced her to leave her own home. She said, for the rights of my country, Michael Devitt, my true Irish boy, who is now in a prison in Portland, far from the lovely sweet banks of the Moy. You remember the year 67. There were brave men and women, you know. There was brave Peter Carney from Turlock, who died in Killarney also. He was drilled by my darling Mike Davitt on the valleys and plains of Pomoy. And that's why he's a prisoner in Portland, far from the lovely sweet banks of the Moy. So now to conclude and to finish, I hope that the day will soon come when those cruel landlords and bailiffs from the Isle of St. Patrick must run. We'll unfurl every green and gold banner, and we'll raise them for Ireland on high, and we'll drink to the brave Michael Devitt, far from the lovely sweet banks of the Moy. Sinead.
Lovely. Well done, Rebecca. I've just been encouraged by Rosie Davis to remind you all that the donate button is on the www.info@góilín.com, and you can go on there and donate your €3 because we will be having guests coming up, and this is to keep the whole thing going. That's great. And Amelia Hogan, Amelia, would you like to unmute yourself and sing us a song, please? Unmuted.
So I'm going to take a crack at singing in Scots Gaelic today. Ooh, shine your heart on olive, shine your on olive, asamarore madoscha, smarmochora mogelgar, on a holam frimsha, in the hoha. One rayo, rayo, and I live, rayo. Shine your heart on I live, on a hola, my friend Sha. Ignora, clan rayo, cranium molega creu. Slangam peel, sa yarla, rayo. And I live, shine your head on I live. Grania mole gariu, slangam pil sa yarla, shannon your hogan droila, and shagrova is marnar, rayo. And I live, rayo. Shine your head on I live, shankar hogan droila, and sagrora is marnar, marimbarina haishla. Scared shusla jadara rayo, and I live, rayo. Shine your head on I live, rayo, and I live, rayo. Shine your on I live.
Thank you very much, Amelia. That's lovely. Beautiful. Pat Burke? I'm trying to unmute you. Now you're unmuted.
Muted.
You're unmuted now.
Mighty singing tonight. Absolutely powerful singing. Now I'm going to spoil it all. Okay. Let your coax and newspapers be cutting their capers, but curing the vapors, the scurvy and the gout, with their balsams and lotions and powders and potions, a coal in their notions, they're mightily out. If you want the true physic to ball the physic, to pitch, to dribble, cram colic and spleen, you'll find it, I think, if you take a drink, which are now to the brink of a jug of poaching. Stick to the crate of the best thing in nature, forsaking your sorrows and raising your joys in moderation. Oh, drink of the nation, in a action like whiskey boys. No liquid is better for lovers athletic or late pathetic can give such a bloom, and for sweets be the powers, a whole garland of flowers never gave their own bowers such a darling perfume. The liquid's so rare, if you're willing to share, to be turning your hair if 'tis grizzled or red. The salt is the merit to make the pure spirit so true, it'll turn all the hair in your head. Stick to the crate of the best thing in nature, forsaking your sorrows and raising your joys. Practice delighting for courting and fighting, but it's not so exciting as whiskey me boys. As a child in the cradle, me nurse with a ladle was treating me mouth to a notion of pop. From a drop from the bottle fell into me throttle, I capered and wriggled clear out of her lap. On the floor lay sprawling and kicking and bawling, till father and mother both came to the fore. Mid sobbing and sighing, they were convinced I was dying. Soon found I only was screeching for more. Stick to the crater, the best thing in nature, for sinking your sorrows and raising your joys. What can they chuckle if babes in their truckle only could suckle with whiskey, me boys? From my youthful digression through years of expression, my childhood's impression still clung to my mind. For at school or at college, the full bolus of knowledge I ne'er could suck till with whiskey combined. As older I'm growing, time's ever bestowing on Aaron's potation its flavour so fine. However they may lecture about Job and its nectar, itself is the only true liquor divine. Stick to the crater, the best thing in nature, for sinking your sorrows and raising your joys. Practice delighting for courting and fighting, not so exciting as whiskey, me boys. Let philosophers dabble in science and babble about oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen's flame. For their gin to be thinking is not worth the drinking, their labour's all lost and their learning's a drain. Maybe prop be the score their elements for, how all things earth, air, fire and water must be. For the rules I don't care, for in Ireland I swear, there's a fifth by St. Patrick, 'tis Whiskey McCree. Ah, stick to the crater, the best thing in nature, for sinking your sorrows and raising your joys. Whack the art and science, be self-pleased defiance, as I yield to the appliance of whiskey, me boys. Come, best me this riddle, what beats pipe and fiddle, what's stronger than mustard, what's milder than cream, what best wits or whistle, what's purer than crystal, sweeter than honey, and stronger than steam. It'll help the lame walk, it'll make the dumb talk, it's the elixir of life and the philosopher's stone. What helped Mr. Brummel to dig the Thames tunnel? Only that nectar from sweet Inishowen. Stick to the crater, the best thing in nature, sinking your sorrows and raising your joys. What could that wonder if lightning and thunder was caused by the plunder of whiskey, you boys? Thank you.
Product placement.
Product placement. Good man, Pat. Thank you very much.
Back to my years of when I worked in Jameson. There you go.
Tom Lenihan's song. It's always associated with Tom Lenihan.
Yeah.
Right, so Deirdre Bialo, would you like to sing us a song, please? Thank you very much. Unmute yourself. Yes, unmuted. Lovely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I don't have any whiskey, but we just had some chocolate whiskey cake, so that'll lubricate for this song. Okay, so no ballad after that. Let's see. My mama, she told me when I was 9 years old, you're gonna be a drifter, God bless your hard luck soul. Well, I've got my ticket, and I'll tell you what I think I'll do. Going down to Tampa, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I've got my ticket, and I'll tell you what I think I'll do. Going down to Tampa, settle down. Conductor, conductor, won't you let me ride the line? You've got to have a ticket, you know this train ain't mine. Well, I've got my ticket, and I'll tell you what I think I'll do. Going down to Tampa, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I've got my ticket, and I'll tell you what I think I'll do. Going down to Tampa, settle down. My mama, she told me, and my papa told me too. Don't let them Bristol boys make a lovesick girl of you. Well, I've got my ticket, and I'll tell you what I think I'll do. Going down to Tampa, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I've got my ticket, and I'll tell you what I think I'll do. Going down to Tampa, settle down. I'm going, and your crying won't make me stay. Or the more that you make trouble, the more you drive me away. Well, I've got my ticket, and I'll tell you what I think I'll do. Going down to Tampa, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. I've got my ticket and to tell you what I think I'll do. Going down to Tampa, settle down.
Lovely. Totally different. Lovely. Fantastic, Deirdre. Thank you very much. So, Martino 3, Martin, would you like to sing us a song? Let's see, can I unmute you or somebody else? Now you're unmuted, Martin. Lovely. Watching.
Anyway, three loss Cruiskin Long. Hui and Dagian, Smijan, Gadin, Tehnaf, Dina Darn Sparan, Spayakari, Rejag, Marishadar, King, Agus Bleska, Yela, Gadavian Band Dogna, Cosmoplatic Fairnach, is fine Mauritian Cruiskin, is Big Shellam. Fine Mauritian Cruiskin, Slanted Yarn of Ornin, is come along and Góilín, Dove no ban. Oid Mahavan, Serga Cashale de Lola, and I laughing in a niffish, Quamsa, not mission through it, Shuna Duife, Egleric Shamskubra, no Balyero Hundi, if fine Mauritian Cruiskin is big shellam. Fine Mauritian Cruiskin, slanted Yalmavonin, is come along and Góilín, Dove no ban. Foggin Shemavanak Salam, Winter and Tisha, Hey Maratashid, Oig no Krima, Mani Vine Shikora, Lakula Fihe, Gavashans and Kilante, Tree Baron Shantisha, it's fine Mauritian Cruiskin, it's Big Shellam, fine Mauritian Cruiskin, Slanted Yalmavonin, come along and Góilín, Dove no ban. Girl Margaret.
Mina Margaret, Martin. Annie May, would you like to sing us a song, please, Annie? Unmute. Yes.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah.
We'd love to hear you.
Cool. Yeah, totally. I joined a bit late. It's been, everything I've heard so far is great, as usual.
We won't tell anyone. Shh.
Right. Yeah, I was here the whole time. Yeah, no, it was great. It's brilliant night, as always. What will I sing? All right. Oh, where I at the moss house, where the birds do increase, at the foot of Mount Leinster, or some silent place, by the streams of Bunclody, where all pleasures do meet, and all I would ask is one kiss from you, sweet. The streams of Bunclody, they flow down so free. By the streams of Bunclody, I am longing to be. Drinking strong liquor in the height of my cheer. Here's a health to Bunclody and the lass I loved dear. The cuckoo, she's a pretty bird. She sings as she flies. She brings us good tidings and tells us no lies. She sucks the young bird's egg for to make her voice speak. And the more she cries cuckoo, the summer is near. 'Tis why my love left me, as you may understand. For 'tis she has a freehold, and I have no land. She has great store of riches and a large sum of gold, and everything fitting a house to uphold. So farewell, my dear father and mother, adieu. My sister and brother, farewell unto you. I am bound for America, my fortune to try. When I think on Bon Clody, now I'm ready to die.
That's lovely, anyway. Thank you very much. Beautiful singing. Thank you. Lovely voice. John Keeley, if I unmute you, would you like to sing a song? Seeing as how the brother sang the first song, you might sing the other song. John? You're out.
How are you? Are
Yes,
you all right?
John. Lovely, yes.
We're on, yeah. How are you, Jerry? Yeah, thanks, yeah. Thanks for asking me to sing after that. Anyway, yeah, thanks, yeah, for calling me up after that. It's great to have Mick back. Fair play to him.
John, sometimes you have to bite the bullet, you know that.
Yeah, it's great to have Mick back. It took him the week to walk back from the holidays. The back arse. We have I play in a band called the Foxy Devils, and I named it after that fantastic song written by Joe Donovan from the Sweeney Men. And all our gigs are cancelled for the next 3 weeks, so we're devastated. So I won't be donating money, and I'll actually be asking you for money, Jerry. But it came into my head.
Luck with that.
It came into my head. It's a lovely song, and I used to sing it for ages as a younger man, and thinking, and I used to dedicate it as my favourite love song. Till some other folk singer told me, that's about a song about a fella loving whiskey, and I went, yeah, but I didn't. I thought it was about a woman, but the Foxy Devil. When I was young and handy in me prime, in taverns I would sit and bide me time. It's there I met your company, I'd sit and drink my fill. It's there that you took hold of me, I think you've got me still. You're the foxy devil when you lie. Make me mind at ease and then you strike. You set me head a-reeling. You make me shout and sing. My memory frees and I get no ease till I have a little drink. You're the crafty rogue, and that's for sure. For your company there is no cure. I've squandered all me money, the best years of me life. All for your charms, in spite of harm, in spite of peace and strife. You're the foxy devil when you lie. You set me mind at ease and then you strike. You set me head a reeling. You make me shout and sing. My memory frees and I get no ease till I have a little drink. Whiskey in the morning or at night gives chance to sing and dance, to love and fight. But all for my misfortunes, I'll take you as you are. The best of friends and enemies, the best I've known before. You're the foxy devil when you lie. You set me mind at ease and then you strike. You set me head a reeling. You make me shout and sing. My memory frees and I get no ease till I have a little drink. My memory frees and I get no ease till I have a little drink.
Good man, John. Well done. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Julian Vignoles, would you like to give us a song, please? It'd be lovely to hear you.
It's from the singing of Len Graham. My parents raised me tenderly, I being their only son. Little did they think I'd follow the fife and drum. They brought me up in the fear of God, kept me from toil and woe, which makes me sigh and oft times cry, I wish the war was o'er. To finish my education, they sent me to school a while, and by their hard industry kept me in proper style. But with some liquor in my head, I sailed for Glasgow Green. I enlisted with John Barber, all for to serve the Queen. When 7 long years had come and gone, I thought of my liberty. When 7 young years had passed and gone, I thought I would be free. But the answer the Colonel gave to me, it oft times makes me sigh, that I must stay and serve the Queen till all the wars are by. I'll take my second bounty, perhaps it'll be for her life. I'll cross the briny ocean, and the gun will be my wife. And I'll fill up a flowing glass and toss it o'er and o'er. Fair maid, don't mourn, for I'll return when the cruel war is o'er.
Thanks, Julian. Lovely. Lovely. Martin Lera, would you like to sing us a song, please? It'd be lovely to hear you.
all, but you're all right.
But you're all right.
I've had a bit of trouble with between the phone and the computer. But anyway, I now hope the dog behaves this time. Recently, the dog howled and yowled for 2 verses out before verse song. It was on another Zoom.
You probably felt he was accompanying you, Marla.
Well, maybe the dog was more musical than myself.
I don't think so.
You know, at the time. Yeah. Okay, I'll give it a blast. Tan saure shille heden jover put ilan nanev. Tan jiene seil chugle gal seliene lehibne santril. O nach minnig me smuine ver ille rashke di corde mochle masu argi sonna machin nagoni we cruche na heron cruche glas na heron Lunra mas queer to crowd. O Charanach Mairach Shin if we are a villa our soil. Gwe green or shola Luska her grim na mara. Only Father Gummimage Sloan. Dog has started. The while you've way cruchen a heron is father-in-law where our mothers are winter free from a dream Lenor Molly our soil har good sore oh na come ma Tommy de fill gan peen in our bokey farir tant line to boil in our green Filler cruchen heron cruchen glass na heron the Lunra mas queer to crave. Oh, a Karanach Mairach Shin if we are egg filler our soil. Gwe green or shola Luska or grim na mara. Oh, honey, father, come many sloan. So while you fue crucha na heron.
There's no doubt about it. Everything in the world is in Góilín, that's for sure. Thank you. Gormina Margaret Marla. That was lovely. Darina, I hope you don't have a cat or a dog or a canary there.
Ne'er a chick in this house, only me. Thanks, Jerry. I have Blue Eyed Lassie. It's a song I learned from Bothy Band's Live in Paris album back in the 80s. So that's how long I've been singing this one. I've since learned that it's a song that has traveled from country to country. Where it started, I don't know, but it's found in Scottish, Irish, and American folk culture. And you probably know it anyway. How could I live at the top of a mountain with no money in my pocket, and no gold for to count it. But I would let the money go, all far to feel her fancy, and I would marry no one but my bonny blue-eyed lassie. She's my bonny blue-eyed lassie, with an air so sweet and tender, her walk like the swan that floats, and her waist so small and slender, her golden hair in ringlets fair hung o'er her snow-white shoulder, and I'd ask her for to marry me, and there's no one could be bolder. Some people say that she's very low in station, and other people say she'll be the cause of my ruination. But let them all say what they will, to me she will prove constant still, till the day that I die. She will be mine, oh lovely lady. Lightly swims the swan o'er the dark waters of Hull, and brightly sings the nightingale, so happy to behold her. The winds do blow, the moorcocks crow, the moon doth shine so deeply, but deeper by far is my love for my own lady. Some people say that she is very low in station, and other people say she'll be the cause of my ruination. But let them all say what they will, to me she will prove constant still, till the day that I die. She will be mine, oh lovely lady. Nay. Thank you.
That's absolutely lovely, Lorena. Thank you very much. Frank Callery, in the wilds of deepest Kilkenny, how are you getting on?
I'm a good area.
Yeah, great, Frank. Now, yeah, we can hear you very clearly. The
Okay.
book arrived, I see.
Oh, it did, Jerry, yeah. Thanks very much, yeah.
If you're from Dublin, it's always referred to as the book.
I know, yeah. My nieces picked me up on that one, you know.
Yeah.
I'll do my song setting of Donnan MacDonough's Breeding Versi. There's a beautiful song, Os an Góilín, Breeding Versi, but this is a different version. He kind of goes into where Douglas Hyde was with the love songs of Connacht. And it's a poem I really like. So this is it, Breeding Versi. I would marry Breeding Versi without a shoe or petticoat, a comb, a cloak or dowry, or even one clean shift. And I would make novena or imitate the hermits who spend their lives in fasting, all for a Christmas gift. O cheek like dogwood fruiting, O cuckoo of the mountain, I would send the darkness packing if you would rise and go against the ban of clergy and the sour lips of your parents, and take me at an altar stone in spite of all Mayo. That was the sullen morning they told the cruel story, how scorning word or token you rose and went away. 'Twas then my hands remembered, my ears still heard you calling. I smelled the gorse and heather where you first learned to pray. What could they know who named you of jug and bed and table? Hours slipped through our fingers, time vanished from the room. Oh, what of all the secrets we knew among the rushes, under the reeks where cuckoos brightened against the moon? You are my first and last song, the harp that lilts my fingers. Your lips like frozen honey, eyes like the mountain pool. Shaped like the reek your breast is, whiter than milk from Nether. And he who never saw you has lived and died a fool. Oh, gone across the mirroring, dividing hope from sadness. What happy townland holds you? In what county do you reign? In spite of all the grinning lads at corners or in Haybar, I'll search all Ireland over and bring you home again.
Lovely, Frank. Thank you very much. So we're heading towards the end. Just before we've just two singers to go to finish. Just before the end, can you remind people that the Frank Hart Festival is next week, and the Poetry Ireland event is on Friday afternoon from 4 till 6, and that will be premiered by the Irish Traditional Music Archive and on the Góilín YouTube and Facebook pages, so watch out for that. Where there will be a singing session next Friday, and if you haven't already booked your tickets, as the man said, tough shit, Paddy, it's too late. And Saturday morning is the song workshop with Dave O'Connor. And Saturday afternoon, there's a Zoom session. And again, if you've booked, you're okay. And the concert on Saturday night will be premiered again by the ITMA and the Góilín thing. And then Sunday morning, the walk, Frank Nugent's walk, fantastic event. It's been recorded, great singing on it. I'm on it myself. And Sunday afternoon, then the final wind-up singing session. So, Claudia, would you like to sing a song before we finish? Claudia Anderson, if I can unmute you.
Okay. Am I good? There we go.
Yeah, you're good.
In Norway there lived a maid, by Lou, my baby, she begins. Oh, no, not I, my babe's father, or if land or sea he's living in. Then there arose at her bed feet, and a grumly guest, I'm sure 'twas he, Sing, here am I, thy babe's father, although I be not comely. I am a man upon the land, I am a silky in the sea. But when I'm in my own country, my dwelling is in Salisbury. Then he has taken a purse of gold, and he has put it upon her knee, saying, give to me my own wee son, and take you up your nurse's fee. For it shall pass on a summer's day, when the sun shines hot on every stone, that I shall take my little wee son and teach him to swim in the foam. And you shall marry a gunner good, and a proud good gunner he shall be. And he'll go out on a May morning and kill both my young son and me. And she did marry a gunner good, and a proud good gunner he shall be. And the first shot he ever did shoot, he killed the sun and the great Silky. In Norway there lived a maid, by Lou, my baby, she begins. Oh no, not I, my babe's father, or if land or seas living in. Yando, yanda, yando, da-da. Hi and ya, hi and ya, hi and ya, oh, da-da.
Lovely, Claudia. Thank you very much. Lovely. The great Silky of Salisbury. Lovely. So, in the tradition of the club, the person who sang the first song will sing the last song, and that'll be Mick Keeley. On behalf of the club, I'd just like to say thank you to all who came, and thank you to all who sang. But more importantly, thank you to all who came who did not sing and listened and enjoyed the singing. And we'll be back at the Frank Hart Festival. As I say, the tickets, unless you book tickets, it'll be difficult enough. But just contact us anyway, okay? So, Mick Keeley.
Sorry, just before Mick, I know a couple of people are worried that they didn't get Zoom codes yet. Nobody got the Zoom codes yet. So if you've booked, you're okay. Even if you didn't get the Zoom codes, you're still booked. All right?
Yeah. Great. Trying to unmute. Now he's unmuted.
There you go. Thanks, Jerry. Well done, Jerry and Maura and Rosie, for pressing all the right buttons. Once I was a waiting man that lived at home with ease, but now I am a mariner who ploughs the angry seas. Well, I always liked seafaring life, so I bid me love adieu, and I shipped the steward and cooked me boys on board the Kangaroo. Well, I never thought she would prove false or either prove untrue, as we sailed away from Milford Bay on board the Kangaroo. Think of me, oh think of me, she mournfully did say, when you are in a foreign land and many miles away. Take this lucky threepenny bit, it'll help you bear in mind the loving, faithful, broken hearts you left in tears behind. Cheer up, me own true love, don't weep so bitterly. She sobbed, she sighed, she moaned and cried, she could not say goodbye. Sure I won't be gone for very long, it's but a month or two, and when I return again, of course I'll visit you. Well, I never thought she would prove false, or either prove untrue, as we sailed away from Milford Bay on board the Kangaroo. Our ship now is homeward bound from many's a foreign shore, and many's a foreign present unto my love I bore. I brought tortoises from Tenerife and ties from Timbuktu, a China rat and a Bengal cat and a Bombay cockatoo. Paid off I sought her dwelling on the street above the town, and there an ancient dame upon the line was hanging out her gown. Where is me love? She vanished, sir, about 6 months ago, with a smart young man who drives the van for Chaplain, Son and Co. Well, I never thought she would prove false or either prove untrue, as we sailed away from Milford Bay on board the Kangaroo. Here's a health to married life, to soap, to suds and blue, parts true loving, patent starch and washing soda too. I'm going to some foreign land, no longer can I stay, and on some China hottentot I'll throw myself away. Well, me love, she is no foolish girl, her age it is 2 score, and me love, she is no spinster, she's been married twice before. And I cannot say it was her wealth that stole me heart away, 'cause she's a washer in the laundry for 1.09 a day. Well, I never thought she would prove false or either prove untrue, as we sailed away from Milford Bay on board the Kangaroo.
Thanks very much, Mick. So we're going to unmute you all so you can say good night and stuff like that. See you all next week.